Hi and welcome to the greatest day of my life. Let's do it. Why is it the greatest day of my life, you ask? Well, there's a simple answer for that. It's because I've got this. Is that focused? It's the Jacuzzi, baby. It's here. Yes! That is right. I've been working with ScottMode, aka Scotty Too Hottie, aka Beatdown, to design this frame. This frame is the complete embodiment of Stoke, the Jacuzzi. It's a hot tub where you sit down with your dogs and sit brews. But now, ladies and gentlemen, now it's the best freestyle frame ever. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back, grab a brewski, cause it's time. It's time for a build video. It's been a minute, but we're coming in on today. Full build tutorial. We're going through a synopsis on the frame, everything about it. I'm not holding back. It's gonna be a long one, so sit back and enjoy. Let's get it. Right, I'll start off by saying this is just a passion project of mine. I don't see that it will go into production at all. I don't think it's going to be replacing all the frames that I use, especially the Citro one. It's hitting a different type of frame that I haven't got currently, and that's why I wanted to design it. So let's get on with the build. One of the really cool features that I loved about Scott's racing frames is what is done on the brace plate. So it's made out of aluminium and it's milled out to support the arms and lock them into place. And I love that because one thing that I didn't like about my Alpha Squad Vigilante frame was it had no way of actually locking the arms into place. And so many times when I crashed, it would just twist the arms and they'd move and it would go, like one arm would be sticking out like this, and it was just, I did not like it at all. So with this, the arms will lock in like so. So they actually are solid in there, and because it is milled out, a couple of mil, so that way the arms, the arms don't really twist. Actually, they don't twist at all when they're in there, especially when they're screwed in. What we've done on the base plate, is we've got some press nuts that have actually been milled into the bottom plate so that they actually don't stick out. And one thing that I've had on previous frames is the press nuts stick out heaps, and then when you route your motor wires over the top of them, I always get worried that if I hit something, wire hits up against metal press nut, then it's just not going to end too well. So having those like that, that is just some engineering genius right there. One thing that I absolutely wanted with this frame was the ability to change an arm if need be, without actually having to remove the stack screws. What we've got is we have milled out the stack screws for the ESC and flight controller and stuff. So we get a countersunk screw, pop it through either 2020 or 30x30, and it goes up flush against the bottom of the frame, and that way when we put our base plate with our arms on it, that isn't going to be affected by it, and we'll be able to slide an arm out if need be and not worry about this screw. So very nice. So before I put the base plate on, I've just got some long screws in there, a nylon nut between the base plate and what would be the ESC. Let's put these on and get to setting the rest of it up. It's a pretty simple build because Simple J over here doesn't like a difficult build, so let's get it. This goes on there, this flips over, 8 or so mil screw goes through that, and once these are screwed in, they are solid as. That's one bolt holding that in. So when we put the center brace in, it's going to be even more solid. Like your boy! Cameras. I like the mini ones, I like the macro ones, I like them all. I think they're all fantastic. And as a result, I needed enough clearance that I could fit a mini cam, i.e. Foxy Falcor Mini, and obviously for micro cams it was going to fit no matter what. I ended up deciding 25mm is enough to get a mini cam fitting at 30 degrees, and it keeps the battery as low as possible so that you have better gravity, center, weight, something or other. The standoffs I'm using are from HQ Prop. They sell all different sizes of standoffs, 25, 20, 30, 35, a million. Alright, before I go any further with the build, got the standoffs in now. I'm going to put the camera in because it's going to be a little bit harder to do it later on once everything's sorted out, because we're pretty much done and I'm about 10 minutes into it, so quick build. Camera I've got is Foxeer Falcor Mini. I don't mind the extra weight. I use a session, so any of the weight that I'm saving in the session I'm happy to make up for in better quality image, which the Falcor is definitely giving. Pop this baby in. Yeah. Okay, righto, that's the whole frame really done. That's literally it. I mean, you got the top plate, but that just clips on there in the camera little bracket plate, what's the Yahoo thing, but now it's into the electronics. So let's get out what we're using for that. I've literally just got a whole bag of spare parts because I don't have all brand new things. Right, ESC, Speedix GS45, Foxeer F722 V2 flight controller, which is the best 30x30 flight controller I think you can get. TBS Unify Pro 5G8 V3, you know, the 5 volt, little 5 volt one, it goes to 800 milliwatts. TBS Triumph Pro antenna, receiver, of course, we're going Crossfire, so just got the little Crossfire Nano. Immortal T. On the Jacuzzi, we've got little cutouts at the back there that we can zip tie the Immortal T to. For freestyle, it's so easy. You know, you don't have to mess around with that Immortal L that still keeps yapping on about, and it gets you perfectly fine coverage. And yeah, that's the way to go. Super simple. Oh, motors. I'm taking the motors off this Citro frame, the Blackbird V2 2207 2800 kV. They're going to be absolute fire on the Jacuzzi frame. What's replacing the Blackbird motors on the Citro frame is these, which you can't see because they're prototypes. Thanks, T-Motor. Alright, big dolls, we're up to the XT60 mounting thing. XT60 wire come out the back of the ESC like so, but it bends up. I zip tie it to this standoff here, and the lead will stick out like so. Battery lead comes from this side over here, plugs in, blows up, and that's how that works. And these puppies, boom, save those for later. Let's get these. Doesn't need much off the end, but we'll just trim a little bit. Whoop. Boom. Heat, apply, wait. Be patient, not too patient. Heat, apply, wait. You'll see it go through. Voila. Easy peasy. Motors. Right, here's a little tip for when you're using race wire. I grab one of the standoffs that were on the frame and I put it up against the bell of the motor, move it down, get a razor, chop the wires. That means all my wires are 25mm and I can interchange motors on any quad I want, whenever I want. That's really, really convenient and handy, especially when I've got all these other ones coming in. Should really work out a better little studio setup in here, but that's alright, because now we are mounting the motors. I've got the motors off the Citro frame. I've got my race wire prepared, but the Jacuzzi is not just any frame. No. The Jacuzzi is a work of art. Now what does a Jacuzzi need more than a bit of bling, baby? We got bling. Look at these puppies. Oh, damn! So what these are designed to do, they only weigh 3.4 grams each, so they're 0.2 grams heavier than the plastic ones that come on the Apexes and stuff. They mostly just look cool, but because they are, like the rest of the Jacuzzi, super high quality, they are milled out to a length where they actually cover the base of the arm. That way, if you are scraping, or if I am scraping along concrete, the carbon stays intact, whereas The aluminium will take the brunt of it and it will look cool at the same time. It's too good, it's too good. Let's get these motors on and the build is coming together very nicely. There you go, motors are attached. Because I've got the race wire, a motor wire length 25mm, super consistent, keep that on all the quads. What I'll do now is I've got a real long 20 gauge wire here and I'll show you my technique of actually getting the wire from the ESC to the race wire. One that I have been more reliant on recently has been this method here. You should be able to see that. What I do is I route the wires like, I don't know, parallel to the end of the edge of the ESC. That way I don't have any wires going in between the flight control and the ESC. As well, I don't have any wires sticking out the side. So what I do is I get wire, put it up against a pad here, and then measure it roughly down to the wire that it will solder to, cut it, do the same for each pad for each motor, and I'll solder it to the ESC. The reason why I do that first, it's easier to get the wires on the ESC first and then put onto the race wire, I have found. So let's get started. So I go from the side like this, solder on both, then we go medium length wire straight over the top. I'll clean the tip, keep that sucker looking fresh. Drop it in, longest length wire, come in over the top again. Easy as. I'll do that on the other four. Okay, this is going to be a little bit hard to show on camera, but what I do is I grab the wires just out of the ESC like that, bring them down to the race wire, try and get them looking pretty even. So there we go, we've got smooth, not too much resistance on the wires, just a bit of give, and then I'll just get a razor, push it down there and cut those wires to length. I suggested to use a cap on it. I've never really had issues with it before. I'm going to put it on anyway because might as well. So I've got a little bit of clear heat shrink. What I'll do is I'll solder the cap on to the battery terminal thingy, like the battery pad's there, and then drop the heat shrink over the top of that, and that'll keep it in place nice and secure if I can figure it out. But all over it, red over. Alright, receiver time. Bloody Crossfire. Not bad, not bad. Get that sucker out. Comes with all the gear you need to set it up. Heat shrink, we're going to use that one. We're going to use some of these wires. We'll only need yellow, white, red, and black. There's a million ways you can do this. I'm going to do it one of them. Just put up a little bit of fresh solder on these wires because
I don't know, soldered from the factory, ain't that red hot. Just add some solder to each of the pads. Like that. Not too much because you don't need it. It's not gonna be bumped around too much. Go from underneath or above or wherever you want. There you go. Comes through. Easy as that. There we go, that's easy as that. Wires go underneath, they'll all be covered in the heat shrink. They come out the front here, they'll go towards the flight controller, and then the Immortal T hangs out the back, and I'll twist that up probably so I can mount it onto the frame. While I'm doing all the little stuff, I might as well do the video transmitter as well. Already heat shrunk for us straight from the factory, so one thing we're doing with the Jacuzzi, taking inspiration from the Apex, we've got like a little mount thing. Check that out, that is the most solid antenna mount I've bloody well seen. Now obviously we took inspiration from the Apex for that, but I got to commend it, it's bloody fantastic. I can zip tie it if I feel like I need to. I've got the spots there for it just up the top. But yeah, this way I could literally just have it like that and it's solid as. So I'm really happy with that. How easy is that? Bloody on. Stop focusing on my face, it's silly camera, look at it. Oh, I've got little slots in the frame just here where the battery strap will go. And I've made sure that the VTX doesn't actually go into that area. That way the battery strap can go, I'll just get a battery strap and show you. There you go, that way battery strap can go underneath there. It hooks into the little side braces and it doesn't hit the VTX. So, spot on. And they're the only three things that we really connect to the flight controller. So, flight controller, box here, S722 V2, very nice, very nice. Had the V1 in some race quads for nationals, I think, way back. It's perfect, it's got everything you need. I reckon we'll just start tinning that up, soldering irons on, tin the pads up we need and start connecting it up because we're getting to that stage, so let's go. This build, we don't need much, just need camera ground, give one of those some loving. Yeah. Bloody power to the camera signal, don't need camera control. We're going to go TX5, VTX, positive and ground, and because this is a 5 volt bloody VTX, there's a little power switch. You can go between 5 and 9 volts. It's currently set to 9, so we're going to have to change that. Otherwise VTX will go gaboomba. So let's just, nice and easy, get rid of that 9 volt. Then we're going to bridge 5 volt with the center. Boom. Then for the receiver, all we're going to use, we've got a ground 5 volt TX3 and RXC just up in the top corner here. So we're going to pump those ones. Camera, VTX, receiver, that is it. I'm going to use the pinout and the solder pads to connect the flight controller to the ESC, only because I just don't want to mess around with having to change all the ports on this one here. We're getting into the business end of it now, ladies and gentlemen. I've got the ESC wire just coming out there. So I'm going to cut those to length and then solder that to these little solder pads on the flight controller. I found that's a bit easier and a bit more sturdy, because sometimes these little plugs, they get, you know, they break in some parts and it's loose. With this, I can just keep the wires attached to the flight controller and then plug it in and out of the ESC if I ever need to, you know, take this out or clean it or whatever. So yeah, let's freaking make it happen. The way I figured out doing this the easiest is I've got the pinout for the ESC here, and I can put my little cable up against that, make sure I know which cable colour and position is which, and then I simply solder each of those to the flight controller, and then, I mean, I should be good. Ground is on this end, so let's start from the opposite end and I can work my way back towards myself. Telemetry is on the RX pad, so that's on the far side. Current is the next one along, so let's tap that one down. Beauty. Then we got motor 4. Now this is where it's going to get tricky because all my motor wires are white. So ESC4 is what's closest to the positive and negative, so it's going to just flip over and go in that direction. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beauty. There you go, that's not too hard, is it? VCC means VBAT, or I don't know, battery voltage or whatever. That's red. It doesn't necessarily have to be red. I've made it red. Ground. There we go. I'm gonna get all these things connected up to this, and that's nearly it. Not much to go. Not much to go. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, I'll be honest with you, but we got the receiver coming out the back, soldered the wires to those on the bottom of the flight controller. That's another good thing about this one. You can get it from the top, get it from the bottom, whatever floats you go. So yeah, it makes it super clean, and that way when the battery strap goes over the top of the flight controller, it's not going to go near it, but at least then I haven't got wires going over the top of the flight controller that could get snagged or whatever. So it just makes it a little bit neater and tidier when it's actually on the build. No sound, good. Alright, yeah, alright. Alright. Okay, I think it's time to plug it in, and if smoke comes out, then I've done something wrong. One thing I want to double check is the capacitor. The negative side of the capacitor has the little grey line on it, and that is on negative. I've stuffed that up a couple of times and it's just gone. The pinout of the ESC, the only thing that could go bad at the moment is ground and VCC. Ground is on the far end, VCC is the one next to it on the inside, so that should be fine. I don't have a smoke stopper, so this will just have to work. I mean, there's no smoke coming out? Mate, wasn't even worried. It is Betaflight time! Yeah, I'm actually going to go through all my settings, every single one of them, the PIDs, the rates, the filter settings, configuration, you name it, we're doing it! Oh, and we've got to update the firmware as well. To update your firmware, pretty simple. Up in the top left corner here, you've got your target, so you just want to make sure you've you know which one that is. I'm currently on 4.16. We're going to drop it up to 4.22 or whatever the newest one is. Easiest way to do it. Let's disconnect. Remove the USB from the computer. Leave the one that's in the quad. We're going to press and hold the bootloader button. Plug her in. enters DFU mode, as you can see up in the top corner. Notice that's the easiest way to do it, because if you're trying to press the button and then plug the micro USB into the flight controller, that's super tricky. Just taking the USB out of the computer makes it a lot easier. Release and release candidate for Foxy F722V2. What are they up to? 4.2.3. Bringing out new ones every bloody day. Select that, full chip erase. We're loading the firmware online because we haven't got it on our computer. It'll download, tell me that it's ready to go, as it does. Don't pay any attention to that. We click flash firmware. It'll erase what's on it, put on what's new and fresh, and then it's good to go. Look, there you go, programming successful. That's how quick it is. Custom settings for the board. Normally the board will not work properly unless you apply the custom settings. I'll apply them. I mean, I'm going to take their word for it. Alright, there's no motor protocol, blah blah blah. Yeah, right, we get it. Calibrating accelerometer is nor here nor there. I'm going to do it just because I don't even know. When we go into configuration, we don't need the accelerometer, so I'm turning it, the barometer, and the magnetometer off. Sorry guys. Motor direction, I reversed the motors. Oh no, I never normally did. Actually no, I was up in Sydney, I didn't have my Windows computer with BLHeli on it, and the motors were reversed, every single one of them, so I just left it and selected this. And yeah, I had some trees get in there, branches and stuff, and it just flicked it out, so I don't know, I'll take it. AirSeat protocol, we're going to go D-shot 600, our idle speed is going to be 6, we've got bidirectional D-shot, the board alignment's fine, 8K, 8K, our craft name, you guys know it, it's Jacuzzi J. This one we're going serial based with Crossfire. SSI, we'll put that on, I don't even know if I use it or not, but meh, whatever. I think, what are our things on? We've got our receiver on UART3, we know that because it's connected to TX and RX3. So we're going to go to serial RX on UART3, select that, and then our video transmitter is connected to TX5. So on TX5 we'll go over here, VTX TBS Smart Audio or whatever, and that's it. Save and reboot. Our throttle map I think is Grotner, I think. But that's the only thing I need to change there, so I'll double check that later. Motors, and we can check our motor direction. So we're going to plug in. Right, we understand the risks, of course we do, and we're going to hit the master arrow up. And there you go, by about 10:22 they all start spinning, so we'll be able to check. Correct, 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 and correct. We can go down to video transmitter. Here we're going to put our VTX tables in. Now it's 4G, 2 bars. Living in the sticks, that's what you get. VTX tables, Betaflight 4.2. Search. Scroll on down, you got bloody control click. Save link as. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. VTX tables 2.0. Chuck that there. VTX Smart Table 2.0, that should do it. One thing I do here, I don't use BOSCAM A, B or E, so I just click those off. I don't think it does anything, but hey, whatever. So let's make another one valued at 3 that goes to 800. That's mostly all I'm going to use. OSD, let's tickle our fancy with some battery voltage. The craft name, drop that in there, Jacuzzi J, let's bring it down the bottom middle. Put the battery voltage over the top. Boom, I'm going to get timer 2, flight minutes, put that in the corner, and over in the corner here we've got our bloody settings for what the timer actually does. So I use total time, that way I have somewhat of a good idea of how long I've actually been flying for. I use PAL on bloody Freestyle quad, so let's select that. I'm going to do the binding procedure and update procedure for the Crossfire receiver through Agent X on the computer. I've done it a couple times through this and it just works every time, and sometimes it doesn't work on the other one, and yeah, doesn't matter. For the Agent X thing, you get your same cable you set your bloody flight controller up with, plug her in, that one. Color coordinate all your cables so then you know which one's which without having to go Plug her in. That should come up on here. It does. XF Micro TX. Let's manage it. Let's put it into bind mode. It is binding. At this stage, the receiver is blinking red, and it's already connected. And it tells me, it says, and now the bloody Agent X says update micro RX. Confirm. I didn't have to press a single button. I always have so many problems with updating and binding and stuff, and that's super easy. Hell yeah, I'm only doing that from now on. I've got to bloody unlock the video transmitter, which I probably should have done whilst this was happening. That's okay, one at a time. I'm a man, I can't do two things at once. RX is loading, don't interrupt. Okay. Receiver is fast flashing green. I think that means it's in its final little stages. And voila. And I have solid green on my receiver. Check it out. Voila. I have my Nano RX available now on Agent. I can manage it. Let's go configure for general. I'm going to keep 8 channels, telemetry on, RF profile. I'm going to set to dynamic. The reason why I'm going to set it there is when I go to 150 Hertz, I get some, not fail safes, but the RSSI or link quality or whatever isn't as high as it is on 50. So by doing this, it can change to 50 if it needs to, if I'm doing like filming stuff and I'm a little bit further away. Failsafe mode is cut, TX, RX, and smart audio is on 4. That's the one you want to look out for. So it's already done. Easy. All right. Unplug. I nearly forgot. Bloody rates, filters, PIDs, and stuff. I did dabble in sliders, and sliders work perfectly fine to get a quad flying. But I've been working with good mate Joseph Webb. He's been super helpful in PID tuning, filter tuning, the whole kit and caboodle with my quads. So appreciate it, mate. Let's make it happen. Roll P 73, I is 80. Single derivative for roll, is 37 with a feed forward of 150. Pitch is 76, 83, 39, 150. Yaw is going to be 79, 86, 0, and 150 as well. Now, from what I've gathered, feed forward only works if you've got the feed forward transition set at 1. So we're setting that to 1. I-term relax down here, I fiddle around with a little bit. It mostly changes the stiffness of the quad and how the I-term, I don't know, how strong it is, I guess. I'm kind of moving between 10 and 12 at the moment. On this one, I want it to be super locked in, so I'm going to go 12. When it's 10, I keep it out on the Citro frame because it's a little bit heavier and it makes it a bit glidier than what it would be with 12. Anti-gravity, we have it permanently set to 6.5, a little bit higher, and it is in smoothing as well, so save, that's all that's there. My rates are 1.28, 0.72, and an expo of 0.23. Same on the pitch axis, and on yaw, I keep yaw lower because my yaw inputs I want to be a little bit smoother than my like snappy rolls and whatnot. Okay, TPA we put at 0.3. I just realized I wasn't recording the screen, sorry. Current shift 5. Okay, now we are recording. Right, filter settings. This is where boys become men and men become legends. Get ready. Gyro low pass filter, 150. Can I tell you what any of these things do? Probably not. Down here, our gyro thing is 1 with 100. Here we're changing up a little bit. Our width percent is 0, 300, 150, and 350. The D-term low pass is 85. Then we got 200. That's off. 250 for this one. And then the rest is the same. Yep, that's off. All good. Now we're going to go into the receiver. We can turn our radio on and plug in a battery so we get the receiver on, and we can make sure that our trims are set to where they should be, our inputs are correct and whatnot. So Yep, looks like throttle's going up when it needs to go up. Roll, yes, pitch, yes, yaw, yes. Damn, he's done this before. Now we're gonna go over to modes, super easy. We need an arm switch, add range. All you have to do is flick whatever switch it is you wanna use. I wanna use that one, it's aux1. Arm switch is all the way towards me. Drag this sucker over here, bring it a bit closer. So, we want a beeper. I'm gonna put the beeper on, yep, that one, which is down here. I want to have flip over after crash, absolutely I want to have that. Let's turn on this one, just act natural, yep. Now we'll update, no we won't update it, we'll unlock our video transmitter. Shut up. No. So to unlock the VTX, it's different for a lot of them. For this one, you press the button for 3 seconds and it enters the menu. So, okay, then we're in the menu. Then we're going to press and hold again for 3 seconds. There we go. And then we're going to hold the button down for 2 seconds and let go. 1, 2. And the red LED flashes. The innovation never stops, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. You know when you've got, here you go. You know when you've got your 3D printed mount, you've got to get the screw through, but the mount's in the way? ScottMode's got you covered. Look at this. Screwdriver or bolt thing goes through the 3D printed mount. Focus on that. Look at that. Absolute genius. Easy as. Shout out to the king, ScottMode, Scotty Too Hotty, buddy genius. All right. Oh man. Oh god. Look at that. It's done. Well, it's nearly done. It's nearly done. We got one more thing, I think. No, two more things. Like all the quads, they need some grip. So I've got this guy here, and we've actually designed the top plate specifically for this. Because too often have there been quad frame top plates have all the cutout holes in them and not provide you with an actual battery strap, battery pad for it. So what would happen is I'd get my grip, put them on top, and then the adhesive would be underneath and open pretty much. So all the dirt and sand and stuff that get in there would just stick to it, and it was disgusting and ugh. So with this, I have a perfectly flat bit of carbon there that the grip can stick to and not get dirty underneath. Yeah, I think it's worth it. It saves you using more of this because you just need a tiny little section of it there. Check that. There you go. Tiny little bit of grip there. It's so cool. You look at the top of it and then you turn it over and it's got all this like, so mint. It is now the next day, day 2. Things I've got to do today, well, I wasn't able to do them yesterday because it was all dark, and changing camera settings when it's dark doesn't make much sense because I'm not really flying at night. Picture looks fantastic anyway, but Foxy 4.9 volts and a timer can go away. Center button on the little joystick, special setting, name, close, voltage, close, timer, close. It is such a lovely day. It is absolutely golden. So this is the first little test hover of the Jacuzzi. See how she goes. Arms. Left, right, forward, back. Well, it's safe to do that first before taking off. Wow. Oh, it flies. There we go. Woo. If you watched this far, who would have thought? Start to finish, no problems, everything worked the first time. It's the Jacuzzi, I'm telling you, it's good luck, it's good luck. Big shout out to ScottMode, aka Scotty Too Hotty, aka Beatdown, legend. Thanks for putting up with
me in designing this, and wow, it's going to be an exciting time flying this guy around. So Ripper, thank you for watching as well, appreciate it, and bye.